Hey there, everybody. It's time for that another rite of passage, and it always happens at the end of August, and that is the 2019 in-season card set for History Maker Baseball. Got this delivered yesterday, and setting things up for my next mini project, which is the 30 and 30. Actually, it turns out to be 31 and 30 now that I counted them up. I'm going to play 31 games in 30 days, or 31 days, I guess, going from August the 30th to September the 29th. But just wanted to give a quick preview of what you get on these without going into too much detail. You get the intro thing that talks about the players, traded players. Team on the original team, they have what looks like this little mine symbol, and then there's like a cross symbol here for the players that get traded. He also, Keith also did a nice little thing by adding Eric Kratz into the Yankees because he may be used there for their pennant drive, and I don't believe he was ever. Says he played briefly for San Fran and Tampa, but not enough to get carded. But he's in this set as well. Now I went through all the cards that are in the game that came with the teams. All the teams get at least 30 players. Some get more, and one of the things I was thinking about with this 30 and 30 thing is once you get to September 1st, there's going to be a lot of September call-ups, guys who have not played in the major leagues at all this year or very little, so they would not be carded by Play.com. And I want to try to keep the games to be as played lineups as much as possible, but what I'm going to have to do is for the players who have decent amount of at-bats and maybe just didn't get carded, I'll make a card for them, but for the call-ups who only have 6 or 7 at bats, I'm not going to make a card for them. I'm just going to replace them with somebody else in the lineup, and that's going to be very easy once you get to September 1st because the rosters expand and I'll have more players to do that with. So that's the caveat there. So we'll go through real quickly and look and see what comes with it. Of course, it's a list of all the traded players. You can see that I've got the window open because it's so nice outside, so that's why you're hearing traffic go through. But there's a list of there's actually 2 pages of traded players. So you can follow along if you want to start your season and follow along, that you can do that. There is the suggested batting orders. And of course the universal instant results table. This is the table that's going to help me get through this mini project, because on the games I don't play, all the other 14 games or whatever else that happens, I'm going to use the records of the 2 teams and roll 2 dice and see who gets the win using this universal instant results table. And the first video I'll do, I will show a couple of those rolls so that you can see how that works. Umpires. One thing I like that Keith did is he included every umpire, just about every umpire. There are a couple missing. A couple of guys must have come up from the minors, I guess, on the box scores I checked yesterday. But for the most part, everybody's here. So usually you just get like 1 page, maybe possibly a page and a half of umpires. Here you get 2.5 pages. So each page there are 7 across and 4 down. So that's 28, 56, and then you got 60, 63, 66, 69, 72, 75, 78. I'm counting unofficially 81 umpires, so I think that's enough to get by with. And then of course you got the player cards. You have to unperforate them, which is part of the fun. It's almost like bubble wrap to me. Show a couple of the players, and then I'll go to the back first, and we'll show once we get past Washington, because they're all in alphabetical order. But once we get past Washington, let's finish this off here. Then you see these players with the little symbol there. That means they were traded to these teams. So if you want to do the pennant race, you include these players on these teams. You can see like Andrew Kashner with Boston now, Yasiel Puig with Cleveland now, that sort of thing. So all these Zach Greinke with Houston. So there's some of the key guys that are you can move over and put these guys with their new teams. See Edwin Encarnacion of the Yankees. So Tanner Roark is with Oakland now. Shane Green's with Atlanta now. So different guys like that you can put on the teams as you're doing your pennant chase. A couple of cards I wanted to I guess show off, if you want to call it that, or highlight. One of them is Pete Alonso. You know what kind of year he's having. He's definitely Rookie of the Year category all the way. So if you look at Pete Alonso, he is a semi-hero, a slugger, a home run king, and a whiffer. He's also got a delta rating for being hit by pitch. So obviously his hit by pitch total is a little bit bigger. So that's just one of the guys I wanted to isolate or highlight because he's such a iconic figure. Now, for the 30 and 30, let's move these out of the way. I have my little board out here for the schedule that I plan on doing. Now, Play.com has their own game they're going to play May the 30th, and Milwaukee and Chicago is one of the ones on the voting. I don't know how the voting is going, but that's Friday, August 30th. This game is I believe a 2:15 p.m. game. So I'm going to play this game myself. I'm going to start the game sometime right around maybe an hour before the game starts, or whenever they announce the official lineups, so I can start the game. And then I'm going to post it while this game is still going on. So you can kind of go congruent there. I'm not sure when Play.com is going to do theirs, if it's going to be a live thing or after the fact or whatever. But anyway, starting August 30th, going all the way down to September 29th, it's actually 31 days, not 30. And so basically, and I've also got the Washington Nationals schedule over here too, because I want to play them as well to see how they do compared to how Davey Martinez leads them. But in the rest of the games here, I'm just picking up what I think would be the most impactful on the pennant races. So there's a lot of repeats there, but they're all playoff contending type teams. So the next day you have the Mets and the Phillies, and then September 1st you got Cleveland, Tampa, and then September 2nd we're back to the Mets again, this time in Washington. So that kind of kills two birds with one stone because I got New York, Washington for the video here and for the thing here. Then you got Minnesota, Boston, Chicago, Milwaukee, this time back in Milwaukee. Washington, Atlanta could be a big series. Philly, New York. Cleveland, Minnesota, obviously a big series. So I've got it set up every day where there's, there are very few teams. San Diego, Milwaukee, I think, is the only one that really, San Diego is the only one that's really not a contender. And if I get down to 9-18 and my pennant race thing alters this thing and maybe Milwaukee falls out, then I'll replace this game with somebody that I think would be a better game toward the pennant race. This is just projection by me as of August the 27th. This is what I see as potentially the best matchups. Of course, end the season with Cleveland and Washington. That could be definitely a game where both those teams need to win to get into the playoffs via a wild card. And of course, the day before you got the Cubs in St. Louis. That's if the Cubs can rally a little bit, that could be a game for the NL Central Division. And 9:26, you got Boston and Texas. Both teams may be out by then, so I may have to replace that one. I'll have to wait and see. But I was trying to get as many of the playoff teams in there as possible. So that's what's going on the channel. The White Sox replay is just going to be on hiatus for 31 days as I do this. And then we'll come back strong with that. But I did want to get this done. I am going to do one video for each of these games. And if it's a day game, then I'll try to post the video, assuming I play it in the daytime. If it's a weekend or if I'm off, then I'll post it kind of congruent with the actual game itself. If not, I'll post it that evening. If it's a night game, then I'll most likely have to post that the following morning. And also some of these games that fall on Friday. I go to high school games on Friday nights, so I'm going to most likely post that Friday game. I'll have to actually play it on Saturday and post it on Saturday. So you might see two videos on a Saturday, depending on the scheduling and so forth. But that's just my plan using History Maker Baseball, and we're going to see what kind of pennant race I can create using this, and then I'll compare it side by side with the real pennant race and see how we're doing, and just see what happens. Make our own history. That's the whole point of the game. So anyway, just wanted to give a quick update on that. I didn't want to go through a whole rigmarole on the unboxing because that seems to be a thing with unboxing, but you've seen these before. I've done several unboxings of these before, so there's nothing magical there. The big thing I wanted to point out was all the umpires. I appreciate Keith doing that because I used to have to go in and try to create umpires for the ones that were missing. So I definitely appreciate the fact that he has put all the umpires in there. And I wanted to show what I plan on doing starting on Friday, August the 30th. So this Friday, around 2 o'clock or so is when I'm going to be playing the game. And by the time it uploads on the video and I get to put it on, it should post like 4 Eastern maybe just before this game ends in real life. So I can put my result out there before the actual game does. And then when I post the video, of course, you can compare it with what the real game has got going on. So that's it from here. Hope everybody has a wonderful week. Enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we will see you all down the road.